My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. My RT appearance is below. My appearance on Crosstalk, the link is below. Thank you so much for sharing it and for the kind words and support. It means a great deal to me. Today is election day, as we all know, and Donald Trump has won Florida. Donald Trump has won Florida. How do we know this? We know this in the same manner that we know cable news and the New York Times and every other outlet beholden to Hillary Clinton. And it's been proven through WikiLeaks emails that we have publications like the New York Times that actually give Hillary Clinton's campaign articles to edit. We know that Donna Brazile gave 2 questions to Hillary Clinton before debates. We know that Wolf Blitzer did almost the same thing. And we know that John Podesta has dinners with a whole bunch of people throughout the media. And we know Chuck Todd hosted dinners also with John Podesta. So, in addition to having a DOJ official dine with Podesta, in addition to over $500,000 to the wife of a deputy director of the FBI from Terry McAuliffe, who has his own FBI criminal investigation, in addition to Inspector Clouseau, James Comey of the FBI, who couldn't find intent in 2 criminal investigations of Hillary Clinton, I'm going to explain to you why Donald Trump has already won Florida or should win Florida. He's up right now, according to Real Clear Politics. He's up in Florida, he's up in Ohio, he's also up in North Carolina. He wins all 3, he'll win the election. Or he should win the election. But I'm going to read you a McClatchy article before I get to WikiLeaks 1 through 35, because WikiLeaks 35 is out. And amazing revelations. I'll get to an email in WikiLeaks 35 that's just unbelievable. This is talking about Clinton leads Donald Trump by at least 15 percentage point among Hispanic voters, according to the polls conducted in the past week. However, it goes on to talk about how black voters, they're not voting in large numbers for Hillary Clinton, and not in the same numbers as with President Obama. And then it goes on to say, yet registered Democrats in Florida and North Carolina have smaller leads over registered Republicans among early voters in 2016 than they did in 2012, a sign that Trump could win both states with a strong showing on Election Day. The enthusiasm factor is there for Trump. I'm voting for Jill Stein very soon. It's 2 o'clock in California. But I'm voting for Dr. Jill Stein. You might be voting for Trump. You might be voting for Gary Johnson. If you're voting for Hillary Clinton, understand one thing. You don't have it in the bag yet. And if Trump wins, and he's on his way to winning Florida, he gets North Carolina, he gets Ohio, he very well can get the presidency. So don't be surprised. Today I was having coffee in the morning and I saw an acquaintance there at the coffee shop. And a nice gentleman, but he said, who are you voting for? Who are you voting for? He's a Democrat. And he knows that I'm a Democrat, progressive, whatever that means anymore. And I said, I'm voting for Dr. Jill Stein. And he said, you can't let that happen. Trump could win. He's a fascist. He literally said that. He's fascist like Hitler. And I just couldn't believe my ears, because if anything, we have the Supreme Court, we have the Constitution, we have separation of powers, we have Congress. And in terms of the authorization for use of military force, Hillary Clinton is far more hawkish and advised by neoconservatives. The militant in this election is Hillary. In addition to the Trans-Pacific Partnership Donald Trump is against. In addition to the fact she pushed for more prisons. And she and her husband presided over the mass incarceration epidemic. So in terms of fascism, there are more fascist policies that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton have implemented, or championing right now with the neocon foreign policy, than Trump, even with his rhetoric. And you're not going to get a wall or a ban on Muslim immigrants through Congress. I can go on forever about that, but I just thought you might find that interesting, about how some people are so influenced by the propaganda from Hillary Clinton. I couldn't believe my ears when he said, Hitler, Trump, fascist. I just couldn't believe it. But the point is, we know that it's out there. And yet, with all that propaganda and with all that media collusion and with all the FBI and DOJ people tipping off and sending information to the Clinton campaign during an FBI criminal investigation, you still have smaller leads in Florida and North Carolina. So today is going to be very interesting. From 7 to 10 Eastern tonight, we're going to find out. It's going to be razor thin in Florida. North Carolina and Ohio, I think that he has those states. But with Florida, if he gets Florida, he can get the election. So it's all going to come down to Florida. But yet, this is the part of the McClatchy article. Yet, registered Democrats in Florida and North Carolina have smaller leads over registered Republicans among early voters in 2016 than they did in 2012. So, if they have smaller leads now, and Republicans generally do better on election day, and the enthusiasm gap is very wide, because you can't just, if Clinton campaign is relying on people being scared of Trump, that doesn't motivate people. Fear is not a great motivator for people to go to the polls. Wanting change is a big motivator. That's why it's likely that Trump could pull off an upset. So you heard it here first. Trump won Florida. I will go ahead and I'll read you also something very interesting. This is a Miami Herald article. Democrats didn't overtake Republicans in Florida ballots cast until midday Friday, last Friday, far later than they had in 2012, when in-person early voting days were fewer. And as of Saturday morning, we're ahead by less than 8,000 votes. In contrast, Democrats led Republicans by more than 100,000 votes at the same point in 2012. So early voting, I mean, in terms of early voting, 2012, President Obama obviously is a more inspirational figure than Hillary Clinton. And then we'll get to a WikiLeaks 35 email that explains exactly why. This is email ID 54085. Email 54085. And the subject is regarding vulnerabilities focus group moderator's guide. So they had to, of course, everything is a focus group or some kind of analysis that has nothing to do with value system. It's just, well, what can we do to deceive or trick or get the most voters by saying the least or by appealing to the fewest values? Out of touch. Should we add that HRC hasn't driven a car in 35 years? So this is the person who could lead the nation, be the most powerful person in the world, in addition to 2 FBI criminal investigations, in addition to lying and saying, oh, I just evolved on gay marriage in 2013. She was against gay marriage up until 2013. If you're a quote-unquote progressive and you just want to vote for Hillary because Trump is fascist, she was against gay marriage in 2013. She called black youth super predators. In 2008, she stated that, well, I'm staying in the race because we know RFK, Robert Kennedy, was assassinated. This was during our first black president becoming president in 2008, and she stated that. That's the type of person Hillary Clinton is, in addition to taking prison lobbyist money in 2015. But we can go on forever. Also, does dead broke go here or in the later videos? Cronyism. And so then she said she was broke. She made $153 million in Wall Street speeches since 2001, according to CNN. And then, according to one WikiLeaks email, Bill Clinton made over $50 million from Bill Clinton Inc., merging Clinton Foundation activities with his personal profit. And then, of course, there's the email that Julian Assange talked about, where Qatar and Saudi Arabia clandestinely fund IS, and of course, they also fund the Clinton Foundation. Very interesting, since she could possibly be the person sending more Americans back to the Middle East to fund the same people who were funded by the same countries that fund the Clinton Foundation. If this is too much for you, Michael Moore, to understand, try to watch the video again. But cronyism, foreign governments, I would say some of the countries, particularly those in the Middle East. Wall Street, I would include. So they're going Obama's third term. I would add, quote, we need a new direction. We need a change of course. So they're all over the place. Clinton flew over the world, but she can't name a single major accomplishment she made. as Secretary of State, they know there is no single accomplishment. Name one. If you're a Hillary supporter watching this, name an accomplishment. Give me your thoughts below to my amazing subscribers. Trump won Florida. Thank you so much for listening. My appearance on Crosstalk, the link is below. Thank you so much for sharing it and for the kind words and support. It means a great deal to me. Today is election day, as we all know, and Donald Trump has won Florida. Donald Trump has won Florida. How do we know this? We know this in the same manner that we know cable news and the New York Times and every other outlet beholden to Hillary Clinton. And it's My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. My RT appearance is below. My debate. Before debates, we know that Wolf Blitzer did almost the same thing. And we know that John Podesta has dinners with a whole bunch of people. It's been proven through WikiLeaks emails that we have publications like the New York Times that actually give Hillary Clinton's campaign articles to edit. We know that Donna Brazile gave 2 questions to Hillary Clinton before